Urgent Las Vegas Raiders fans. Do not miss this. What just happened? You won't believe this one. But before we reveal the big news, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because here, we bring you daily videos with the latest Las Vegas Raiders updates. And to not miss anything, activate the notifications. Hey Raiders fans, today we have some intriguing news that's really shaking up the NFL world, and of course, it has direct implications for your team. We're talking about Jalen Ramsey, the 7-time Pro Bowler and one of the most talented cornerbacks in the league. Now, there's a lot of chatter about where he might land next, and honestly, the possibilities are pretty exciting. But before I get into the specifics, let's set the scene for you because this isn't just about Ramsey, it's about what it means for the NFL and, more specifically, for a team like the Raiders that's looking to make a real push this year. So, Ramsey, as most of you know, was traded from the Los Angeles Rams to the Miami Dolphins a couple of seasons ago, and since then, he's been an integral part of Miami's secondary. But the Dolphins, after a solid run, have been exploring options to move him, especially after the 2025 NFL Draft, which was full of surprises and unexpected turns. Interestingly, even with the draft behind us, Ramsey remains on Miami's roster, and that's a key point because it signals that Miami's management is still weighing its options. The Dolphins, led by GM Chris Grier, have been evaluating the market, trying to find the right deal that makes sense financially and competitively. Now, the big twist here is that Miami's initial plan was to move Ramsey before or during the draft, but they couldn't pull the trigger. That's right, despite all the rumors, Ramsey is still in Dolphins colors, and that's creating a bit of a standoff. The reason? Well, it's all about the contract structure and timing. Ramsey's deal is such that if Miami waits until after June 1st, they can clear nearly $10 million in cap space. That's a significant financial flexibility move, giving the Dolphins some leverage and options. But it also means that Ramsey might stay put for now, and the market for him appears to be a bit weaker than initially thought, especially since the draft picks that teams would have offered are no longer on the table. And let's be honest, this situation is just heating up. The NFL trade market is always a wild card, and with Ramsey's age, he's just 30 years old, and his proven track record, there are several teams that could really benefit from his presence. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, what about the Rams? A reunion? That's been floated around, but honestly, the Rams are in a different place right now. They've got a solid cornerback core and are focused on developing their young talent. Bringing Ramsey back on a big contract might not be the smartest move financially for LA at this point, especially with cap numbers rising in 2026. So, it's unlikely they'll make a move for him. Instead, let's take a closer look at some of the most realistic landing spots for Ramsey this summer, and I want to start with a team that's been aggressively trying to rebuild its secondary, Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens, after their secondary was decimated by injuries last season, have been constantly trying to add veteran depth. Last year, they drafted Nate Wiggins, and this year, they added Chidobe Awuzie in free agency, plus they picked up Robert Longerbeam in the 6th round. But despite all these moves, the Ravens are known for their willingness to chase proven talent, especially players who can make an immediate impact. Adding Ramsey would be a perfect fit for their mold. Imagine a secondary with Ramsey lining up alongside Marcus Williams and Marlon Humphrey. Talk about a formidable unit. It's a logical fit, even if the financials might be a hurdle, because Baltimore has shown they're willing to push the boat out for players who can help them contend. Now, switching gears a bit, let's talk about another potential destination, Tampa Bay. The Buccaneers, who are coming off a surprisingly successful season, have been building a competitive roster with a mix of young talent and veterans. Their secondary, led by Jamal Dean and Antoine Winfield Jr., is solid but not perfect. They drafted some intriguing prospects like Tyke Smith and Zion McCollum, but they're still in need of a veteran presence that can bring leadership and stability. Ramsey, with his experience and ability to shut down top receivers, could be exactly what they need to push their defense over the edge. The Bucs are known for their aggressive offseason moves, and considering they've invested in their offense, it makes sense for them to bolster their secondary as well. Another interesting option is Arizona, a team that's been making headlines for their big spending this offseason. The Cardinals, under new coach Jonathan Gannon, are clearly trying to turn things around and become playoff contenders. They've added Josh Sweat, Calais Campbell, Dalvin Tomlinson, and even drafted Walter Nolan in the first round. But what's really exciting is their hefty cap space, around $32 million still available for 2025. That kind of financial flexibility means they could easily fit Ramsey into their plans. Imagine Ramsey lining up opposite Sean Murphy-Bunting, with young safeties in the back end. That would be a defensive unit to be reckoned with. Acquiring a player of Ramsey's caliber would send a clear message that Arizona is serious about contending, especially in a division that includes the Rams, Seahawks, and 49ers, teams that are all formidable and looking to dominate. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. What about the Las Vegas Raiders? I mean, you guys, your team has been making moves this offseason, right? The Raiders, under the new regime, made a splash by trading for Geno Smith at quarterback, which is a bold statement. They also took Ashton Jeanty in the first round of the 2025 draft, showing they're serious about building a competitive squad. But if you look at the Raiders' secondary, it's not quite at the level you'd want it to be if you're aiming for a playoff run. Sure, they have some pieces, but adding a veteran like Ramsey could immediately elevate the unit. Think about it, Ramsey's presence on the field would bring respect and intimidation to that secondary, and that's exactly what the Raiders need to take that next step. And the best part? The Raiders have one of the most significant cap spaces in the league right now, around $42.3 million, according to Over the Cap. That kind of financial firepower means they could make a serious push for Ramsey without breaking the bank. It's a perfect storm, really. Ramsey, in silver and black, could be a game-changer, especially if the Raiders want to establish themselves as serious contenders in the AFC West, a division that's only getting tougher with the Chargers, Chiefs, and Broncos all vying for supremacy. Now, I should mention that the trade isn't guaranteed to happen. Miami, the current team holding Ramsey's rights, has indicated they're open to moving him, but the deal's all about the right offer. If the Dolphins decide that the return isn't worth it, maybe they want to hold on to him for one more season because they believe they can contend, or because they want to see how he performs in 2024, they might just keep him. Plus, with just 1 year remaining on his guaranteed deal, they could wait until next offseason to release him, saving some cap space and avoiding a trade that might not bring the return they want. But let's not forget the bigger picture here. For Ramsey, this season is crucial. He's at a point in his career where he wants to win, and he's proven he can be a dominant force in the league. Teams like the Raiders, with their growing roster and high cap space, could be the perfect landing spot for him to chase that championship. It's a move that could define their offseason, and honestly, it would send shockwaves through the league. Imagine Ramsey in the Raiders' secondary, working alongside players like Marcus Peters or some of the young talent the team has been developing. That kind of veteran leadership and lockdown ability could really boost the Raiders' chances in a competitive AFC. And now, Las Vegas Raiders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential blockbuster move? Do you think Ramsey would be the perfect fit in your secondary? Or do you believe the Raiders should focus on other areas of the team? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I love hearing your opinions, and honestly, your input helps shape our coverage of the team. Remember, this is just the beginning. The NFL offseason is always full of surprises, and I'll be right here, keeping you updated on every twist, turn, and major development. So stay tuned, Raiders Nation, because the best is yet to come, and trust me, this offseason has plenty of fireworks ahead. And as always, I'll be back soon with more updates, analysis, and insider info on everything Raiders. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, turn on those notifications, and keep supporting your team. The future is bright, and with moves like potentially bringing in Ramsey, the Raiders could be on the cusp of something special. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay loyal, stay loud, and go Raiders!